It's the Stock Boy Raceway, a custom track made just for you, and it starts now. Welcome back. I know it's been too long, but hey, I've been hard at work at something for you, and I think you're gonna like it. Today we're gonna be driving some fast cars, including some of my very favorites, like the Italy RSX you see right here. But the main reason that we're here is to check out this new custom track, and I'm excited because this is something I can actually share with you guys. I'll give you some pointers for getting around the track quickly when you get there for the first time, but really, it's going to take some repetition. It's pretty tricky, it's pretty technical, but it is a lot of fun. I'm hoping that you guys are going to come back for seconds, thirds, and beyond because there are 6 published layouts for this track. And here's tip number 1. Don't cut corners. It's designed to punish you for it. And you might crash otherwise too. That's okay, it's part of learning. Just don't come at me like this.
What the dude?
Be patient, drive the track a couple of times, learn your corners, and I promise you, you'll have a good time. As you can see here, it's huge. It's a 2.68 mile circuit in its longest version. 6 forward layouts. I could go backwards, but I thought that was overkill. And it's very hard. It's not easy. Here's a look inside the Stock Boys creator. This is the madness that ensued. Tons of custom props. Tried to make it look as realistic as possible. A little Suzuka section for those of you who like Suzuka. And then an atomic banked carousel there, which is an awesome part of the track. This little side stretch, I guess you could call it, it's full throttle and then into another Formula One corner. Kind of like the Chinese Grand Prix. I love those corners if you've seen my tracks before. And it's a very technical section. This is actually going to be a go-kart track when Rockstar allows me to make go-kart tracks. This right here is one of my favorite parts. There are bumps and hills. They're there on purpose. It makes it difficult. You'll have to slow down. You need to use your brakes. There's a bridge that goes over water. There's a very, very fast chicane that you cannot cut. You've already seen that. And another nice banked corner to round it out as you go to the finish line. If you know me, you know that all of my videos have bonuses, at least recently they do. Here's your bonus. I'm going to show you at the end, on the most technical layout of the track, how to drive the most difficult car in the game. I'm going to give you some pointers that will make you a better Locust driver, guaranteed, promise. There is no better car in this game to do this example with than the Italy RSX. You can see the first corner here is banked. It's about a 7-degree bank all the way around a 180-degree corner. That shoots you out to the first rather technical section. You've got a 135-degree little almost hairpin there. This is an awesome part of the track. The Suzuka section. I cut a corner here. Ignore it. I didn't mean to. It sucked. I get it. Now we're going to go through here. This is the banked atomic carousel. That's like 300 and some degrees of banked awesome. And then you launch yourself right out onto this, I don't know what to call it, but it's a very high-speed section. We're going to go full throttle all the way over to the right there, and then we're coming up on that China corner. Well, this is tricky. You're going to have to be a feather on the gas, you're going to have to be light on the brakes, and in some cases you'll have to do it both at the same time. A nice little double left-hand 90-degree there into the go-kart track, and this is a fun part of the track. It's really technical. It's kind of tricky. There's a little jump here. It's not meant to be a jump. It was meant to be a bump, but it turned into a jump, so whatever, that'll work. And then a nice long corner. Heads right into a little hairpin here. That's going to send you down the go-kart home stretch. We're not driving go-karts right now, though. We're doing the Italy RSX and going into my favorite section of the track. Uphill into that right-hander, and then downhill into the hairpin. Flying down this, which I cannot use because of the limits in the creator, which is a little bit of a bummer, but that's okay. Another little kind of custom hairpin there shoots us out onto the backstretch, and this is the fastest part of the track. You go uphill over the bridge and then downhill immediately into the chicane, and all of the bumps and the downhill there, you'll hit really high speeds. It's really hard to keep control of your car, so you're going to want to lift a little bit so you don't lose control. We're flying down the home stretch now, though, and this Italy RSX, we did it in 1:53.5 seconds. So there you go. There's a time for you to go try on this track. Go check it out after this video. This is the next layout. We're looking at the inner layout. So this is similar, but once you get through that atomic banked carousel, you do that whole first section, immediately you're going to go right instead of left. This takes you backwards on the go-kart track, which is a lot of fun. You're going to go into this hairpin immediately, hard left there, and then a long sweeping right-hander taking you backwards where the go-karts are going to drive. We're going to go uphill now instead of downhill, and then we have our little technical area here where we're hard on the right, and then you're going to have to go hard on the left into a chicane, which wasn't a chicane before, and then another chicane that's going to spit you out onto a high-speed backstretch that's going to lead to, you guessed it, another chicane. And we're going to go through there. That's about the extent of the differences on that track. Here's the time for you for that 8F drafter. We've done the inner loop. Now we need to do the outer loop. What's the difference here? Well, after you go through this 9-degree banked carousel corner, you're going to come out and you're going to go left again onto this odd little side stretch with a couple of turns. Full throttle through here on the way down to the Chinese Grand Prix corner number 1. There are 2 on this track if you notice. I like my braking corners. This is a fun little area, and this track is unique because after these 2 little 90-degree left-handers, it's pretty much a straight shot to that high-speed chicane. So you gain a lot of speed, and in a car like the Italy GTB Custom, it's underrated as far as top speed goes. You get going down this hill towards that chicane and things can get a little hairy. I will say this lap time is pretty good, so if you want to try to beat it, go for it. This might be my favorite layout, and if you're going to run this track, this would be a good way to start. You can kind of get used to some key corners here. You see, it's a very hard right at the fork there. Almost hit the wall, but then we're going down into one of my favorite corners, that downhill hairpin. Straight from there, we're going to go into what looks like another kind of custom hairpin on this layout. It's a little bit wider, but that shoots you right into the backstretch where, you guessed it, you're going into that chicane. It's a lot of fun. It's a very fast layout, and there's a good time for the tires. Now we have to get a go-kart editor with this update, right? The one coming up? I would think so. Until then, I will drive compacts on my go-kart track, and this is it right here. You see that section there that I am very fond of, as you know by now. But now, it takes us straight back into the technical section. So you've got that 135-degree corner, the long sweeping left here that's going to go downhill and into Chinese Grand Prix corner number 2, I guess we'll call it. We got to slow down gradually as we're going, and we got to take a very late apex that's going to launch us into the final hairpin, and from there, just gun it straight across the line. If you're driving a Blista Canjo here, this is a good time for you to aim for. Onto the full west layout, and my promise from the beginning of the video, we are in the Ocelot Locust. We're going to learn how to drive it a little bit better. This thing is very difficult to drive in the game by the game's standards. It has liftoff oversteer and braking oversteer, which means the back is going to slide out at will in corners for the most part. So what do? Well, you treat it like a simulation racer. And it's a little weird. When you get these long corners, you have to use kind of the brake and the gas simultaneously to keep the rear end from sliding out. But you're not going full throttle, full brake in the corners. You're feathering it. You're using a little bit of finesse. And if you've run in simulators with traction control off, you'll be familiar with it. If not, it might take you a little bit to figure out. But you got to keep that back end from sliding out with just a little bit of throttle. You got to brake lighter than full braking, and you'll be so much faster in the Locust. And if you're going to give it a shot in the Locust, here's a time to shoot for. That's a pretty good time. If you've made it to this point, you're one of my favorite people and one of the most discerning people in the GTA car community. That's what I'm trying to do. I want to build the best car community out there. I hope you enjoyed the track, and I actually want your feedback. Which one of these layouts do you want to see for the official Stock Boy Grand Prix? Let me know. You can go drive them. You don't have to let me know right away, but let me know in the comments which one you want. If you're not a subscriber, I still want to hear from you. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Stock Boy content in the future. I try to make my videos as unique as possible and give you some different information on cars than you might already have. You'll find the track link in the description. Thanks for joining. I hope to see you next time.